This is Daryl,
Black
of course.
Panther's coming in February. Does that serve any purpose for us? A movie like Black Panther.
On the surface, yes. I think it can be a positive thing that black children get to see themselves cast in a positive light if, all the characters in the movie are, in fact, cast in a positive light. Having not seen the movie, obviously, from a psychological standpoint, you have to be somewhat on guard as to whether or not there will be subliminally racist messages in the film, because it can very well be that as well, as we've seen with The Lion King, where the black birds were the docile, dumb, goofy birds, so they took Zip Coon and put it through the bird, so having not seen it, you can't say ahead of time what it's going to be, but on the surface, it can be positive. Now, when we look at the economics of it, we lose, okay? It's a white platform, white produced. Even though the writers are black, the actors are black, it's controlled totally by Europeans, and the profit will be totally European too. So is it another example of our culture being exploited for white financial gain? Absolutely it is. Okay, but is there some sort of psychological benefit to black children? Absolutely as well. The key is we got to get to a point where we control the product and its influence. That's what we have to get. We want it to benefit black kids, but we also want it to benefit black people financially. Because to say this is psychologically beneficial to black children, but financially beneficial to white folks, we still losing.
Taking a movie that we have seen that deals with education, Hidden Figures. I mean, did you?
Hidden Figures was positive. I thought that was very necessary, especially for black girls. That's a movie that every female student will watch in my school because there is a stigma associated with being female and not being good at math and science. And that's a cross race, whether you're black or white. There's a stereotype that girls are not good at math and science. Totally erroneous. And so I think that there is a powerful tool that can be used to break the conditioning that our girls have, that because they are black, they can't do it, and because they are female, they can't do it. So I think Hidden Figures is probably one of the most effective movies that's been produced in a long time because it speaks to a reality that is here and now.
We have to do rule of threes. Was there any other movies that you felt strongly about the last few years?
Last few years, I probably got to throw out some names.
Well, Get Out, Moonlight, 12 Years a Slave.
Well, Moonlight,
Birth of a Nation.
Moonlight was nothing more than the subjectification and perpetuation of the homosexual agenda. Get Out was good because I think Get Out used a lot of subliminal programming to communicate a message to black people that you otherwise could not have communicated. And to many extents, some of the symbolism used in Get Out, I felt, was borrowed from Birth of a Nation. If you look at how Get Out proceeded as a movie, it was almost identical to the Nat Turner story. It was almost Nat Turner made contemporary. He had to fight. He had to separate himself from white folks who he thought cared about him. There was just a lot of symbolism in Get Out that I felt was borrowed directly from Birth of a Nation. It's almost like the same movie told in two different ways. But the brother was a genius because he knew that had he not codified the message, they would have never put that on film. It's unfortunate that he had a white wife. It's unfortunate that Nate Parker has a white wife. So once again, we're dealing with that continued contradiction of black men claiming to be for the struggle, but sharing their beds with the white female. So that's something that we still haven't graduated from yet.
Okay, and then so we're doing this. Question for you both. Right now, there's Hollywood, people coming down on Hollywood. There's another scandal-ridden thing, with the sexual harassment claims. What do you feel this Weinstein, Ratner, it's a lot of powerful white men coming down, being brought down. Is it a distraction? Is it signaling a real change in society?
Well, to think anything is going to be sparked by them to create change in society would be crazy for any black person to think. So no, I don't think it's going to create any change. I don't really get too bent on, this is a distraction, but they always got to throw you a bone. They're not stupid. So they're not just going to make it seem like, we're just perfect. And they're always going to throw you a bone. It got to be somebody's sacrifice to make you feel like you are getting some leeway, to make it feel like, oh, look, they will lock one of their own up. And as soon as they throw us a little bone, then they got us for another 25, 30 years. So do I think it's going to cause change? No, it's like, it's like an Obama presidency. What change did that create? It lulled us to sleep. Well, we got this image of a black man in power who doesn't really have power, but we're going to give it to you. so you can feel a certain kind of way and be asleep. So no, I don't think the Weinstein stuff is going to do anything for our people at all, except make us feel like they are somehow policing themselves when we know good and well they never have and have no intentions on ever policing themselves.
Yeah, I'm a big document. I watch everything, though. I just got finished watching Aftershock, the period of Reconstruction following slavery. Docudramas, I'm real big on that. My Glory, my Tuskegee Airmen, I'm a big history buff, so I watch almost anything, including white documentaries, because I want to know as much as I can about the devils, too. So.
Okay, so for those out there watching, pick one and tell us what that you would recommend that people might not know about and why it's important to you.
You mean
A film, or if it's a book, if you want to go book, you can go book.
Oh, if I want to do a book, I'm going to do everything Amos Wilson, Dr. Amos Wilson, fellow psychologist, who's now an ancestor. I think he was the most relevant and practical scholar of the modern era, because he didn't just feed us with information. He also fed us with practical, applicable programs and solutions, whereas most scholars, it's all information-based. But Amos Wilson was all about doing the work. I think that's something that black consciousness has lost in the modern time. Information has replaced organization to a fault. But I would read everything Amos Wilson. Miseducation, The Developmental Psychology of the Black Child, Garveyism in the Age of Globalism, Blueprint for Black Power. I just think everybody need to study Amos Wilson. He's going to be a subject at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy.
For what I do, the movie I would choose, my favorite movie is Malcolm X. And why it's so relevant to me and what I do, because I was like, Malcolm when he was Reds and did become conscious. And so that puts me in a place where that's what I go out to do, to try to transform other guys to come from out of that street and take that same passion, because these guys got the passion that we need for revolution. It's just centered in the wrong way. I know for years of my life, I had no problem dying for my block. I had no problem killing for my block or going to jail for my block. This is what's in our minds. But now I take that same passion into the conscious movement, into revolution, into liberating our people. So now it's like, folks, I will never sell out. You can't buy me. You can't threaten me. You can't put no fear in me, because I done been through it all. I done already took bullets. So like, what you gonna do to me? But when I look at X, just to see how they inspired men by just being men. And right now, the image of an assertive, unapologetic black man is under attack. They're trying to feminize us. But one of the scenes in Malcolm X that really always sticks out to me is when the man gets beat up and he's and they're walking towards the hospital. But the guys, it's like 5 or 6 guys, and all they do is start walking. They don't ask nobody to follow them. They don't say, everybody, let's come. They just be men walking down the street. And when everybody sees that presence, they just start following them. And by the time they get to the hospital, man, I don't know how many folks is out there. And so it's a whole lot of talking and a whole lot of preaching. But I think when we get out there and show them what a man really looks like, the men will follow, the women will follow, and the youth will follow. So to me, just X is real pivotal to me. I love to sit under my elders, so to look at the relationship between Elijah and Malcolm, that's very powerful. So just everything, well, not everything in the movie, but that movie speaks to what it is that I do as far as inside the inner city community with the guys who are out there in the streets.